Yeah, something did happen back there, but it's like you would care anyway. Well, now that you have me interested, what do you want me to do? Well, if that's the case then, sign me up. I'm sitting in my room on a cold winter night. In fact, I don't even know what time it is. Well, it's not like that it matters anyway, since time is non-existent in this reality. I just got done entering that disgusting place known as the mansion with Caitlin through the VR mission. It was an experience to say the least, yet I feel a sense of loss from it all, and I don't know why. It's probably just me being stressed out with everything happening in my life, as well as my psyche. But if there was one thing that made me feel alive, was talking about and hunting predators. I liked it. Interesting. A sign of life. At the time I'm recording this, I have a sense that someone might be after me in this dimension. I've spent at least a good few months in isolation, so it's odd seeing the radar pick up someone. However, while I have you here before my time is up, I'd like to give a nudge to a few individuals I'd like to discuss about. In the end of all of this, I made these videos in order to protect you all, the children. The next generation to hopefully lead the community instead of those who abuse power in order for their own gratifications, sexual favors, position in the social ladder, or whatever other reason. I would hate to see my generation to end up the same as those and thinking it's okay to submit to this toxic behavior. Yet, it's going to take a lot of reflection, reevaluation, and education to try and get this community up to speed with basically every other community. I'd also like to dedicate this video to specific people, that being the victims of these predators, my friend Lily, as well as the justice for True Legendary. I really do hope that all the victims that are involved with these situations do get the right assistance and help they need to get over this hurdle. I want to dedicate this as well to my friend Lily and anybody who else supports these videos, as well as support my mental well-being. I cannot express my gratitude enough to those people who do so. And I also want to dedicate this video to True Legendary, also known as Stanley Freeman, who sadly took his life a few months ago. My prayers go out to him, as well as to his family. Some may find it odd that why I'm dedicating this video for people, and quite frankly, I don't care.
I'm not your messiah. I'm not a hero. I'm not the good guy.
Sweet dreams.
I don't think I need to give my reasons why I and you should absolutely despise pedophiles, as they are genuinely the scum of the earth. I couldn't remember how many times I, or many others, have spread info on how rampant this community is with these type of individuals. But really, there isn't much we can do about this, since in any other case, the community would have come together to take down a predator, since that's damaging for the safety of the community as a whole. But it seems that COVID and quarantine was the year that exposed everyone for who they truly are, and honestly, I'm not surprised a lot of people were outed as predators. I know that it wasn't just a 2020 issue where all the predators were outed. This problem has actually existed as far back as Heavy and GF, but unlike any other community, these problematic people make up the majority of the people with power, so taking them down is just as easy as trying to take down multi-billion companies. In short, near impossible, but plausible with enough luck. It's the matter of reaching out to the right people who are willing to get an audience to listen.
It's been a recurring problem that, in all honesty, would probably never be fixed until someone big outside the community steps in and does something about it, or people start getting real and start thinking for themselves instead of blindly following pedophilia. Don't worry, this is probably the last time I'll be needing to speak about this topic on this channel. Fingers crossed.
Let's start the party!
I know that there's going to be some people who are going to be asking, why am I covering situations that the professionals have already covered about? And, to be fair, I don't care. And two, I would like the community to know about this in a more concise manner, instead of two bumbling idiots to be stumbling around for like an hour. No hate to Jared, but seriously. Now, looking back over the situation, the only thing I can really say about it is, man, what a pathetic beta cuck. This is just a first for me on just the absolute desperation from predators in this community.
Now I can go on for days about the roleplay shit that he did with these 4 minors, and to be frank, you can look at it if you wish to, it's nothing too bad and it's honestly pretty tame, but I just want to mainly focus on the really damaging things. The victim in one of these situations asked me not to tell their issues, which I respect that decision, but to put it simply, how as a 17-year-old myself can wrap my head around dating someone in the fucking 6th grade is beyond me.
What the fuck?
But I'm talking about the Splatsource community, so really anything goes. Fuck my life. One thing I'll do thank them is for standing up to this degenerate behavior, because let me tell you, there is something entertaining when a little preteen is much more mature and aware than a teen that's almost an adult. It's just straight up gross with some of this manipulative behavior and asking if she wants to see her baby's pee-pee or making not safe for work posts of them.
Oh, and you can't really forget when somebody says, if I don't get caught, then I'm not a pedo. Which is just generally the most flawed thing you can ever say about basically anything. It's just as good as saying, if a bear shits in the woods, but nobody was there to see it, does it stink? It's fucking dumb, and I'm actually genuinely surprised that he used that as an excuse and thinking he can get away with something that's illegal.
With the other 3 victims, that being Ash, Flower, and the most recent going by the name of Sky, it was mostly the same thing, but most of them bought into it and never really called it out, similar to the other victim. However, in one case with Ash told King to stop the roleplay stuff and because it made them uncomfortable. But he backpedaled and said, yeah, it's totally normal for a dad to kiss their daughter on the lips. It's roleplay anywhere and I don't want to be alone. I'm sorry, but you are not the father. You are a random person on the internet that this person has never met in their life. And if you're just that desperate that you don't want to be alone, then go outside, meet some people in the real world, and build a connection with people in your personal life instead of preying on children and manipulating them to be in a relationship with you. I'm sorry, but you're sounding like you're terminally online. Once people such as B-Man, bless his soul, caught wind of this all, King posted a confession on his relationship with these minors and how he's hurt all these people.
Now, I'm not going to be bothered to be reading this because, let's be real, I'm not wanting to waste your time reading a sob story, but I'm going to be mentioning one thing from it. Now, even though what you did was extremely predatory, you decide to bring in Robert Sector and say, I don't know who did it worse, was it me or was it Robert? You're both in the wrong for what you both did. This isn't some competition or judging who's the most fucked up individual. Holy shit!
During the aftermath of this confession and being exposed for this behavior towards these minors, King also released a video about the situation which has sadly been taken down and didn't get archived in time, which is a shame since I would love ripping it to shreds. To this day, there's been no news on his return back in this community due to his family finding out about this, and I hope it is for the better. Since I don't want to know someone my age being this fucking dumb by roleplaying rubbing stomachs with preteens or saying that he'll show his dick to a child.
Now I'm a little motivated.
I never thought I'd see the day that I guessed to categorize Robert Secor with a lot of the problematic people who were predators last year, and would eventually end up just like the rest, mainly for the fact that they couldn't animate and ended up as a predator. Good job, past me. You did well. Now, unlike King, Robert only decided to deal with one kid. Not like that's a good thing or anything, that being the same minded that asked to be anonymous in the King section. Look, I have no clue how you're dealing with an almost adult wanting to send dick pics to you and an adult straight up admitting to you that they wanted to have sex with a child, but jeez, good on you girl for standing up for yourself at a young age. However, on a positive note, we do have a video that he made, so I'll be breaking down certain parts since 1, I don't want to cover everything since we'll be here for a while, and 2, it's clearly all over the place.
This is gonna suck for real. This is gonna suck for real, alright? Hello everyone, welcome back to a video, and I have some unfortunate bad news that I have to discover. I've been exposed for being a pedophile.
Alright, boys, pack it up. We don't even need to watch this video anymore. Let's go.
I really think I could make it up a notch, because now that I'm moving on without everyone that I loved, how should I do this on myself? I mean, sure, I can help through myself, getting through reality and such that. And you know what? I can deal with that shit, alright? Did not mean to swear, but I'm saying that just to be, like, brave enough as I could.
So, you've admitted to the claim. We could just end it right there. Like, this video does not need to be fucking 20 minutes.
But you know what I'm worried about? I'm worried that the Splatoon community is about to die.
I didn't do something bad in the community. That means the community is dying.
Is the community dying? No. Is the community shit? Yes. Have some common sense, don't do it with a child, and just be a normal human being. How hard is that?
Well, it would not happen right this second, but I'm afraid that it's gonna have a lot of negativity over this community for all these times. At first, it was supposed to be a friendly, great community with everyone that loves the Splatoon to play games with for everyone and family. And now it's turning into the dark side of its Splatoon community.
While I do believe that the community is shit, trust me, it just really kind of comes down to the people that you hang out with and who you befriend. My experience may be completely different to yours. However, this is coming from the person who is a deluded human being and exposed as a predator. So,
Like, most people are sub-leaving because they're dealing with pedophiles, they're dealing with sexual roleplays of the roleplay servers and Discord, and they're dealing with people that they're making another bad wrong mistakes that they're not trying to improve their chain.
those problems are just completely justifiable to leave. I just don't see how that's a problem when you yourself are the issue.
And here's the thing about me. Yes, what I did wrong was a misunderstanding. And what I did not know that someone is gonna end up in jail just because they're gonna do these type of crops like that.
Dude, how do you not know this? Like, I genuinely hate to say this, but please, do your research.
You do not realize about me more. You did not realize about my life. You did not realize about what I do in the past couple of lives.
Come on, we're gonna find who's asked.
I have autism. And if you set that as an excuse, that is your problem, not mine.
Wow, way to toot your own fucking horn, you fucking narcissist.
I mean, swearing is not gonna help you, because swearing it's gonna make you worse, alright? I mean, I did not mean to say that F word, because the only thing I said is because you gotta understand this responsibility, because you're gonna end up like me too.
Just because I have a potty mouth and I swear at times does not mean that I'm gonna be a predator, mate. That's fucking dumb.
And let me ask you this. Are you an enemy or a friend? And I'll tell you why. Because if you're an enemy, then you're the real enemy to yourself, that no one understands what your mistakes was. And if you're a friend, you're in the right track. You're in the right type of mood for being a nice person.
What? Like, that just makes no sense. Like, if you're not gonna help a predator, that means you're the problem because you don't understand the issue, but if you help them, then you're a good person? What sense does that make? None.
If I am a pedophile, I would be doing more bad things to other little minors. But I'm not. I'm not going to do that anymore.
And yet by saying that doesn't help the situation whatsoever. You still did it. And you're even setting an even worse image for yourself. Good job.
I am so sorry for what you just saw. And, you know, I'm just trying to be myself as best I could. And, you know what? I'm just gonna work alone. Work alone as best I can. And if you think you can change your mind for all the things you're hearing, okay. But here's your choice, Paul.
Just because you said sorry doesn't mean you can prove your own innocence. Action speaks louder than words, as they say. And seeing you go off on tangents about the most asinine thing doesn't seem to help your case whatsoever, especially when the delivery on it had little to no remorse.
If you're the guys that you want to hate me still with, that's your choice. So you better back off away from me if you're gonna hate me for real.
No.
Just don't you ever try to hate me ever again. And if that's your choice, you better get away from me, alright? Because you're not gonna like it. I mean, I'm not gonna go after you or nothing. I would not do that. I am not going after the person that I hate. Because that would be more bad things in their lives. And for friends, look, you would care for me still, and for others who hate me, just stop with these dramas, okay?
Hey, congratulations! You learned what harassment is. Would you like a medal?
If you want this community to be better, you guys have to be better as best as you could. And the lights went out because I'm just talking under the basement.
Oh my god, Robert. Oh, you're not making it any better for yourself.
Yeah, I'm just making a video. You're cool. Yeah, sure, please. You see how respectful that was? You're showing your responsibility to your own people.
I'm fucking done. No.
I no longer want to cover this anymore because it's basically another 10 minutes of him going off on tangents. I find it absolutely disgusting that you use a mental disability to justify your actions, as it's offensive to those with it. I have friends who have mental disabilities such as autism, and they are some of the best mates I've made, so I find it unjustifiable that you use it to make up for your actions. Learn to take responsibility, Robert.
Hey, do your job!
This person I wanted to talk about for a good while, since the situation was actually really dangerous to handle with and hopefully will lead to some actual repercussions for their misdemeanors. To give context, Asher Forge, previously known as Hydra, was exposed for some pretty sketchy behavior of wanting to hook up with a minor around in April, and raged at the fact that she didn't want to be with him. A lot of people, myself included, found it disgusting that an adult was pressured a minor in a way Asher did back in April, to which he apologized for the actions and stated it won't happen again. Fast forward to around July, and the story took a turn I did not expect. Apparently, after having a chat with him about it, he showed this piece of evidence framing Champion, the significant other of the victim Gigi, and made it out that Asher was an unsung hero that was falsely accused about the situation. However, I'm not blind, and Asher should know better that I was going to look into it, especially when the so-called evidence was deleted. Talking to both Champion and Gigi revealed to me that he is extremely jealous about them being in a relationship and tried to ruin the relationship that was completely fine to begin with, which, if you cannot tell already, is pretty messed up that you're intervening with a relationship to be with a minor. Because I have zero tolerance for people lying through their fucking teeth, I dropped him a personal message that basically said, hey, you did something fucked up, reflect on it all, and get real. To which he never responded and shortly after disbanded his name from Hydra to Asher Forge. They'll tell you that he already had plans to change their names, but no matter what the reasoning is, it just seems like the perfect scapegoat to hide your past actions. I dropped a thread on basically everything I've explained now to warn the community about Asher, and a little bit after I got a bit of traction for it, I'm accused of stalking him? The last time I checked, there were 4 instances I've ever interacted with Asher, 2 of which Asher decided to choose to talk to me. And while we're at it, why don't we look up the definition of stalker, shall we? Stalker, a person who stalks, a person who pursues someone obsessively and aggressively to the point of harassment.
Asher, I get it. You're a bit fucking slow, so let me just put it in a more concise manner for you to digest.
What other people and myself have done by exposing your twisted behavior isn't considered stalking. It's known as spreading awareness. I don't think you have a clue on how fucking dumb you sound saying that critics and people who expose your damaging behavior stalkers as a method of washing your past mistake away as well as a coping mechanism. As it's funnier that you still want to push it off as fake. I don't think you understand what a criminal record is, but basically it's a record of what you've done. So let's say you committed another crime like shoplifting. For example, what they'll do is they'll check your past actions to determine if the punishment is whether it be a fine or time in prison. Now my posts or other posts to spread awareness aren't criminal records. But it does set an image seeing your so-called online sibling not even deny the fact that you're a predator and yet continues to defend you speaks volumes on how manipulative you are. There isn't a problem with me, there's a problem with you and your friends. This might also be a problem that you don't understand that while you didn't diddle with a kid, the fact that you still wanted to get into a relationship with them is just as bad as diddling with one.
Are you that stupid?
You're gonna love this. Asher also released a statement which has been deleted from this time, speaking about what happened and demanded a public apology from people within the situation and people who have called him out. But when you come to breaking down the entire argument, it is completely none of your business to intervene with a relationship that was totally fine to begin with. Now, do I believe a 3-year gap is a bit of a stretch? Yes, but it's not your job nor is it your responsibility to police something like that. The evidence that I've used a lot throughout this video, with and without the context, it doesn't look good, so you've basically shot yourself in the foot with the situation. I've mentioned earlier, you are not the father.
Plus, it sets up a narrative that doesn't correlate to the evidence provided when you've admitted to the mistakes, backpedaled that it ever happened to your victim Gigi, and then attempting to come clean to it all.
So, what's the truth then? Since at this point I'm better off trying my luck at winning the lotto than believing even a smidgen from a pathetic and impulsive liar such as yourself.
If you genuinely still think that Asher is still innocent after everything I've shown, I don't know what to say to you honestly, but hopefully it will come to no one's surprise that Asher is a master manipulator. If you're genuinely serious about fixing what little reputation we have left, Asher, it's best to leave the internet for a while and take a good look at yourself in the mirror. If you don't like what you see, fix it. Since while you're getting sick of people like me exposing your behavior, I'm getting sick and tired of you brushing off a problem that can get you into a lot of serious trouble if it falls into the wrong hands. To conclude, watch your back, because deciding to weaponize your fans will certainly leave a good mark for you.
There's generally been some problems and issues that I've had with this community for the longest time, but I've never really spoken about it, mainly for the fact that I don't want to dedicate an entire video on it. So I decided to just do a quick one-off shots here, so I'm just going to give a quick fire of these here. Editing.
So during the professional's downfall, one thing I picked up from people criticizing them was that editing videos was easy and anyone could do what they did. While I totally agree that literally anyone can achieve what the professionals did, I feel like this was a massive slap in the face to me. Since if it's so easy to do what the professionals did, then why haven't I seen any other channels blow up to say even half my size with the stuff I do? It's simple for me to know the answer, because it takes a lot of effort and time to really get out there given YouTube's algorithm, and people are more likely to just make a Twitter thread or tweet longer explaining a situation since the process of it is so simple. It's literally just typing a bunch of stuff and just linking evidence. People aren't willing to sit down, spend hours on end for a few weeks or months trying to make a concise video that's both informative and entertaining. Most people are more willing to just drop a thread or tweet longer since it's low effort that's rewarded with a high amount of reach. By all means, I don't want to give any hate to people who do drama reporting on Twitter, nor do I want to downplay it, as I talk about situations I'm not dedicating a massive video on that side. I just don't want to hear the argument that making exposed videos on YouTube to be an easy task, because it's an extremely arrogant take to make, especially if your career has just been reporting shit on Twitter and you haven't even sit down to try and even do what I produce.
Sheep mentality and ego.
I'm going to be 100% serious with you. A lot of people in this community are sheep. Yep. They blindly follow their idol no matter the situation that has occurred, whether it's just dumb shit such as stealing OCs or serious issues such as pedophilia. Most people within this community are kids. They don't fully understand the weight and damage that comes with a case of pedophilia, or they choose to be ignorant of the matter or pass it off as petty drama or allegations. I don't like using the believe all victims mentality as it's backfired with situations within the Smash community, most prominently with Nairo, but unless the perpetrator can provide substantial evidence to prove their innocence, I ain't buying it. Especially when someone such as Ash or Hydra can use evidence to manipulate a situation to spin it in their favor. I mean, shit, that guy's knocking on death doors for doing that. People need to start getting real and not relying on people higher on the social ladder to basically choose how they act. You have a right to choose what you wish to support, like me. You have a choice to defend someone for pedophile allegations. Not like that's a good thing, but you do you. You have a choice to choose your own path. You just have to ask yourself, is this something that I want to do? While at the same time, some people in this community are so driven by their own ego. So many people view themselves with such a high level of admiration and never really deliver, or just ask their certain things that are completely impossible to achieve. I'm not going to drop any names as they know exactly who they are, but I had one person who wanted similar stuff that I covered to be on fucking Fox News and try to get rid of the haters. Alright, Mr. Blocky, some random drama on the internet about some niche community isn't newsworthy unless it's actually something serious, such as the story about a man with a fluorescent beard trafficking children on the web to, well, fill in the blanks. As I said with the TCS video, no matter how loved you are or how much someone enjoys something, there's going to be people who are going to dislike it or hate it. You're inadvertently getting rid of an option to share an opinion of dissatisfaction by getting rid of the haters. As a content creator myself, I know there's people who dislike my stuff, that I do, but that doesn't mean I'm going to go out of my way to get rid of them. If it's ultimately an inevitability that people will dislike what you produce, you're not going to appease everyone. However, showing that you are a sensitive baby to a semblance of hate or not taking criticism for your work will ultimately be the downfall for not only what you work on, but to yourself. So start getting real.
Drama reporting.
My opinion on drama reporting has changed significantly over the last 2 years. Mainly one of the ways that you're treated and thrown around once you've actually become successful enough for people to listen to what you have to say. If anyone would ask me if they recommend being a drama reporter, I'd highly advise not to, since the stress of dealing with shit and the treatment you get from it, with most of it being pretty good in my case, but the other half of it being shoved down situations that are completely devoid of any point of me speaking about it. I would never wish to discourage those who wish to do so. If you want to do it, go ahead. However, it's going to take a huge toll on your mental state, and it takes a while till people start listening to you. However, there are those who I would also completely condemn doing so, mainly for having a questionable track record or not having anything distinct enough to differentiate themselves from everyone else. To this day, I'll never understand how I'm still standing here today, but maybe it's the fact that I'm just mysterious. I don't know. Back to the topic at hand, I condemn those who have a questionable past or just blow smoke up their own ass. Luckily, I found someone who hit 2 birds with 1 stone. I vibe in the server with the 7 Deadly Boomers due to them being pretty chill with me after their drama days. However, we had one individual who was invited for some info on Inkto Angie named Final Prank, who ended with probably the most pretentious thing I've ever heard. If you forgot who I am, you won't for long. Alright, Mr. Hero, what do you want, a fucking medal? I don't even know you, and quite frankly, I don't care about you boasting about being the next coming of Christ. So already, great first impression. Now the thing is about that server, mainly it's just to chat and fuck around with each other sending memes. Drama was always just an afterthought for us. However, that's all that Franpring talked about, which in my opinion is quite unhealthy mentally. Talking about drama constantly wasn't just the issue though. The issue arises to the approach of it all. His approach was just anger as a personality type, and many of the situations he brought up was already well known by most people in the server, which is completely pointless to talk about us. Many of us were well aware that a dangerous person named Gotti or Sawyer, who sent dick pics to a minor, was on that server. But quite frankly, it's a situation that can't be handled pretty since the perpetrator was also a kid, being 16. However, seeing Prank flail his hate burner towards them and constantly nagging them about the situation became annoying extremely quickly. Being a drama reporter myself, you want to remain civil most of the time and not make yourself look like an asshole. Because word went around that server that this is mainly done for Prank being accused by Sawyer for being a transphobe, which seems really scummy. Like, you went from not talking about a situation that had nothing to do with you to begin with, and then all of a sudden, the moment you're accused as transphobic, you had to take on the situation. You can argue that I talk about situations that have nothing to do with me, but the difference is I do it to protect the weak, to hopefully build a brighter future. What do you care about, Prank? Yourself, perhaps?
Now, as a future note, while I do not have the evidence against the case since it's been deleted through the sands of time, nor do I want to accuse someone about a claim with no evidence, I will mention that he has a sick sense of enjoyment when it comes to trolling and being an ass. Now, while I do enjoy trolling from time to time, it becomes a bit of a problem when the only thing the internet seems to remember you as well as the only thing going for you. His choice of going after the really troubled people within this community is a double-edged sword in my opinion. While it's a good idea to bring light to the troubled people such as Matthew250 with his weird fetch stuff, at the same time, what's the point of targeting them when A, they're not going to listen to you, B, the community is fully aware on who the individual is, and C, the approach all is just straight up harassment. With what I've been given and seen of him, if he doesn't like who you are, he will endlessly target and harass you as well as those you're connected with. He's as stubborn as a mule and believes that he can depend on the anonymous nature of the net to get away with shit. And I know that he's fully aware that the net is not as safe as it is, as he's learned it the hard way, but due to legal repercussions, I can't say much. So if you ever do encounter him, make sure to just call him a cunt and block him. Make sure to also warn others about him, because at the end of the day, all he ever depends on is the thrill of getting a reaction. He's been banned on multiple sites due to his harassment and starting nonsensical drama, which isn't a good look that many people wouldn't want to label themselves as. No wonder no one listens to you when you talk about your situations.
Another thing that has completely changed my views has been drama groups. In the past, the noticeable ones were of course Team Downfall, who set a standard of exposing groups within the community, as well as the 7 Deadly Boomers, mainly for getting recognition for their deep dives investigating situation, as well as notoriety for trolling and potentially illegal shit, such as doxing. Both groups have gone their separate ways for a few years now as the time I'm recording this. Over the years, this community has been a thing. Many drama groups have flourished and died down. But if there's one thing I've learned after the professionals is that while it leaves a lasting impact on the community as a whole, it will never last long. At this point, it's better off running a drama account on your own and just asking for some help or guidance, which is what I stick to. I also worry about kids running drama accounts, as a lot of situations dealt are pretty serious and can seriously mess with one's mental state, which is why I find it highly concerning and worrying for me when I see kids start up a drama group. R6 was like that rumor that spreads around the school, but not for the reason that they were intending, quite the opposite actually. No one really knew who they were because, quite frankly, no one really cared, since on face value, people knew them as the kid vigilante group that barely did anything, but saw all their drama as some roleplay game, and trust me, they weren't wrong. To say that a lot of people didn't like R6 would be an understatement, since even though they wished to police the community and be respected, no one could take them seriously, as it was just a bunch of kids who fantasized themselves as agents and spies to help save the community. Now, I decided to look into this situation myself undercover, and I think my biggest problem for any group, and for anyone in general, is to manage your ego, since if you can't control your own ego, your ego can control you. I feel like the ego plays a large part in a lot of downfalls. At one point, they try to get hackers to join the group, to dox and ruin people's lives for not agreeing with their stupid fucking rules, and from knowing their track record of people they've dealt with besides Mario Cooper, why would you ruin someone's livelihood for the fact they didn't abide by your rules? What's the point of making videos on literal nobodies that no one besides your group cares about? Only for it to spiral into a mess of accusations and squabbling. During my time with that group, another group decided to replicate what R6 was doing and emerged out of nowhere going by the name of E7. And with a failed attempt of running it down to the ground, their plans failed, as the leader of that new group was more narcissistic than low-tier god. Honestly, if you have a rule in the server that states don't talk shit about the group, loud and clear, you're bound to face some sort of backlash. After the failed attempt of a raid, most people left or retired, as they stated, so I left the place with a personal message about the group. As I'm recording this group has probably now disbanded, and will most likely be forgotten in the sands of time. Let R6 and E7 be a lesson that vigilante groups run by kids who cannot handle serious situations such as pedophilia, manipulation, and genuine harassment is never going to work out whatsoever, especially when the group sees themselves as heroes while showing no credibility of their work. Having their group set out with a hierarchy ladder and making nonsensical drama. Unlike E7, who exposed themselves as a group that was never going to go anywhere, R6 just did a better job hiding that massive wound.
I've been waiting a very long time to talk about this. Now, if you're a fan of the professionals, you're very aware on who this individual is. A very important person for the professionals as a whole. In fact, the actual downfall of the entire group. Now, I know that there's some viewers who are watching this who have no idea who this person is or who the professionals are. So I'm going to give a quick brief rundown on who this individual is.
Annalena is a person who is somewhat noticeable within Splatoon's Instagram scene, but is a complete nobody everywhere else in the community. Debatable. Annalena would like to tell you that she's gained her follower base due to her work, but she's mainly gained most of her traction for all the wrong reasons, such as her ego that's always seemed to find a way to creep in to her and how much it has eaten her alive to the point that it's caused way more problems for herself, such as being in a relationship with adults by faking her age with Shadowred, who was 20 at the time, with her being 16. She's lied and manipulated people such as True Legendary, as well as being a sexual deviant with some questionable works of art.
What?
Now normally I would applaud her efforts for trying to catfish their age in order to eradicate some predators, but this isn't the case here, as she decided to go completely off the rails by hooking up with a few of those people, that being Shadowred, and has said some extremely fucked up things in the process of doing so, such as, of course, faking her age, saying that she sent nudes, and I'm not going to repeat history from specific someones, but I just want to let you know that they are somewhat out there. For the safety of her, YouTube, as well as my own credibility, I cannot show you, as it's literally illegal to show or possess. She also has, on multiple occasions, bribed people money or clout in order for people to forgive situations her, including, of course, True Legendary and my investigation with Captain Baz. She's also an act that she runs the SFM community, as the moment things don't go her way or you expose her for who she truly is, she'll do anything in her power in order to stop you. Although, I don't know how you'll stop people when your only ticket of success is your Instagram account, but who am I kidding? You have connections with people in this community, who you just easily throw away since you're just a heartless human being that doesn't care about those who probably care about you in order for you to one-up someone in an argument. No one in this community runs the Splatsource community, or is the leader or moderator, especially an incompetent numbskull such as yourself. So from everything I've explained, that being her ego, her shit behavior, as well as her bribing people for money, we arrive at True Legendary. Through constant idiocy and denial about her history and her actions, the final straw for everything was Annalena telling True Legendary to kill himself. And unfortunately, on the 22nd of April in 2021, True Legendary, also known as Stanley Freeman, took his life. For many of us in the community, it moved us deeply, knowing a fellow member in this community and friend has passed away and will never be with us. My prayers go out to his family and his loved ones. So, seeing how this all unfolds, how do you think Annalena reacted to this?
I just lost one of my very closest friends, True Legendaries. We played VR chat together, and I even heard his voice. We planned to get together when I get my VR headset. But no, he took his life, and he's gone forever. I miss you so fucking much. Rest in peace, I'll always carry you in my heart.
Are you fucking kidding me? So instead of saying nothing, which would have been just the more preferable option in this situation, you opted out by playing dumb and acted like you telling him to kill himself never happened. If you truly care and miss him, why in Jesus Christ's name do you tell people to kill themselves when they've openly expressed to you that they are depressed and in a bad state of mind? You ended up being the key factor in someone's death. It shows a contrast putting these two images together, don't you think, Annalena? Not that being people caught wind of how oblivious she was to a massive issue of someone passing. Her reaction to it would have been better if she said nothing, and she made herself form a massive crosshair on her head.
I'm very fucking disappointed. My best friend died and y'all saying it's my fault? It's my fault. We were best friends and we always played together until the end. We even texted together normally on the day he died, and I wondered why he didn't respond. Many people are unfollowing because of that lie and haters, kitties, and it hurts me very much to see my comments on my post that it would be my fault. Really shaming y'all, and I don't know if anyone even likes me because of all those lies.
Anna, I'm going to be speaking from the heart for this, and I'm going to go completely out of character, because I just want to ask you one thing. Is this what you wanted? Is this what your ego desires? Because, Anna, I really hope that karma bites you in the ass for this. Your entire presence is just a fabricated mess of lies. From your age, your reputation, and especially your overblown ego. Trust me, you'll be remembered in this godforsaken community, but for the complete opposite reason your ego wishes to be. Because I hope that you lying through your teeth and telling one of the most beloved people within this community to kill themselves creeps with you with every single fucking day, knowing that his blood is on your hands. Now I know by saying all of this, I may have potentially made myself a target for her and her fans to attack me. But in all honesty, I don't give a fuck. I never tell you to go after people, but if she ever goes after me or any of you, you have my permission to tell her the massive void that she's forgetting about. I'm willing for her to face justice, even if it costs me my own reputation.
Time, Mr. Joxic? Is it really that time again?
What's happening? Where am I?
The afterlife, of course. It seems that you have just only arrived in this nightmare. It's a shame. They decided to kill you off this early, I must say.
No, this can't be happening. I need to save them, those suffering, those who depend on my support to help them.
I must say, you've done a great deal in such a small time span. You've done it so well, in fact, that I've received some interesting offers for your services. Ordinarily, I wouldn't contemplate them, but these are extraordinary times.
But why? Why must I be dealt this hand? Haven't I gone through enough that I could forge my own path of freedom?
That I cannot answer. But rather than offering you the illusion of free choice, I will take the liberty of choosing for you if and when your time comes round again.
Haven't I suffered enough in this hellhole? I've dealt with multiple cases, lived in isolation for months, and yet this is what I'm given? No amount of doing tasks, medication, or self-loathing in a journal can save me through the horrors that I saw. And the way you wish to cover it all is by killing off the one person who experienced this mess.
I do apologize for what must seem to you an arbitrary imposition, Mr. Joxic. I never planned to kill you off, but to watch over you and that thing that brought you down. Perhaps an unknown source decided to knock on death's door today, but I trust it will all make sense to you in the course of, well, I'm not at liberty to say. In the meantime, this is where I get off.